Good evening, folks. We have two fabulous tech talks for you this evening, and we're going to start with our first one with Jo Flynn, who is one of our Emerging Technology Caucus members, and she is going to talk about one of the more fun topics we've discussed in any of these tech talks this year, which is when your house talks to you about disaster. So we're not even just talking to ourselves here, the house is talking back. So I will hand it over to Jo Flynn.
Well, thank you, everyone. I was an English major way back, and I really had the most fun in my science fiction class. And there's a short story by Ray Bradbury, and I actually forget the title of it right now, but a short story by Ray Bradbury that essentially was an automated house that does everything for the house. And it would draw the bath, turn on the lights, do all these different things. And at the end of the short story, sorry to give away the punchline, but you find out that the house is actually empty. And the house is kind of like this living being that is doing all these functions all the time. But what's interesting is he did this more than a half century ago in terms of the theory and thinking behind the potential automation that we're talking about. So we do have these technologies today. And some of the things that are most interesting and concerning about having a house talk to you is the ability for it to listen to alert and warning messages. So with the integrated public alert and warning system for iPOS, we have the ability to utilize Common Alerting Protocol, or CAP technology, which is an inter-based messaging technology. And there is the potential that with the integration of the Internet of Things, that we can have these different devices capture those messages and bring it into our world, or literally into our home. So in May, they're going to be expanding, I believe, I forget which is which right now, but in May they're going to be expanding the ability to tighten the polygon for alertings, and I believe in December expanding the character count for the alert and warning. But I am hoping that we can integrate iPOS messaging beyond that and go towards a message that goes into these Internet of Things technologies. So not just having a tight polygon, but pushing that map to an individual on a device or in their car, where they can receive that map and actually know, are they in the danger zone or out of the danger zone, and which way is the safe way to go. When it comes to being notified in your house, you can learn this information and know to either take shelter or know you have to be leaving soon. So these particular technologies we have an opportunity to start integrating them into the technologies that exist. So we start to talk about home automation technologies, and these are integrated systems that you build within your home. So systems might include lighting, smoke alarms, your smart appliances. How many of you have seen commercials where your refrigerator will email you or tell you that you need to buy milk on your way home? So some of these things already exist and can talk to one another. And what we can do with home automation technology is establish what we call a scene or a setting. So when we have all these devices connected together, let's say, for instance, you want a particular scene when you arrive home from work. So your house will detect, based on your GPS location, either in your car or on your phone, when you arrive to your house. And it will open the garage door, it will turn on the lights to your kitchen, it might start some music or whatever you may have been listening to in the car. Maybe it even draws you a bath one day, I don't know, and highlights some Ray Bradbury stuff there. But it starts to do all of these things. It may dim the light for date night. It may, wow, that was interesting. So it will do all these different things that you program and set. And so what we would want to start educating the public about is programming these scenes so that they can be receptive to emergencies. So instead of dimming the lights lower, maybe when it receives this message, I changed the light color and now it's red or it's blue, or something visual that gives me a clue, because I programmed it, that there's an alert I need to pay attention to. We don't have these integrated yet. However, I'm hoping that we can get to a point where we do have these technologies integrated into our alert and warning system that can establish these scenes for people, and then maybe we can even take it a step further, and once they're receiving these messages, through iPause, through our alert and warning systems, we can actually give them some instruction. Don't leave your house. A tornado is coming. We want you to get into this room. We want you to take these supplies with you. Or we want you to leave because a wildfire is approaching your house and you need to take these supplies with you, which might be a slightly different set of supplies. So there is possibility here, and we need to work with technology vendors and with our federal government and alert and warning partners to start talking to that technology so that we have some opportunities to integrate these things. Some of the other key aspects of home automation technology in your house talking to you has to do with some of the security camera technology that we have and can install into our homes now. We don't need the big companies that call you on the phone and tell you your house is on fire. Your house is telling you that and alerting you to your phone. And it's recognizing that the fire is started in your stove, which is a smart stove, and it just turned it off, or it cut the gas line to it temporarily. But in California, what's happening is that firefighters are actually being recorded on the security cameras to the exterior of the home. And because this is a two-way communication tool, the firefighters can actually communicate with the resident. And we, in public information, need to start actually educating some of our first responders. Can you imagine when a police officer is going to serve, let's say, an eviction notice, or to enter somebody's home because they were called? This is now being recorded on these devices, and people are sharing it on social media. So people are learning about these things as disasters are happening. And we want to make sure that from a public information standpoint, we're educating our first responders to that. These are some examples of some of the home controls and the connected appliances and how that integration can really change our communication for emergencies. Now imagine if we could have some feedback from these devices and signals so that... I think I'm still going?
Oh, now you're not.
Yeah. I think I hit a button.
There you go.
Thank you. Apparently, no, it does not like me.
Did you flash it green?
Check 1 2.
Try it? No?
Yeah.
Is that working again?
Yeah.
Okay. So I break technology.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Okay. Woohoo! I'm very carefully trying not to touch any of the buttons right now. I love technology. I can't always get it to work. So basically what you had seen is some firefighters approaching the door, some exchanges of information taking place with the homeowners. And these are people who have been evacuated from a wildfire who now have evidence that their home is okay. They clearly have power and internet connection, so their utility services are still okay. And they still may be kept from their home. So this creates, in addition to the public information issue that it creates with firefighters talking directly to folks and people posting that information to social media, this creates an additional burden and pressure for emergency managers to return people back to their home very quickly because they have verifiable information that their home is okay. Their neighbor's house wasn't, but their home is okay. And so we need that data, that information, so that we can expedite return to those areas or be a little more explicit in our reasoning as to why they can't return home. You know, there's still lots of firefighters and equipment on the roads. They're blocking the roads. It's unsafe to travel. There's a lot of debris in the area. It's still unsafe to travel. And give people real good reasoning why they can't get home or figure out how to expedite their return home. So I want to leave you with just a couple of 3 key things regarding home automation and our potential ability to connect to it in the future for alert and warning. One is right now, everyone is a PIO. Everyone who walks up to your front door has the possibility of engaging with that homeowner and essentially sharing with them why, I have no idea why we lost signal. I literally am breaking things right now. But how and why they are coming to their home, and people are grabbing these images and essentially sharing it online. Two is that we have a whole slew of new devices that could be potentially available to us for alert and warning. People, how many of you actually still watch TV connected to an antenna, or you are one of the new unplugged people connected to an actual antenna? Most of us have streaming devices or services, correct? Or we just stop watching TV, we're watching whatever we have on our phones. So these new devices are new potential avenues of actually connecting with individuals to get warning messages to them. An EAS on TV is really no longer a valid tool because people aren't using that technology any longer, at least the way I grew up using it with Fred Flintstone and Saturday morning cartoons, right? So we have these new devices that can connect to the internet, so we need internet-capable devices and internet alert and warning messages that are pushing and talking to these devices, and then educating our public on how to set these scenes and systems up so that they can receive that message and then know what to do with it. We do have that problem of milling in terms of making a decision when emergencies are happening, and we want to inspire action. So if people have taken these steps to change the color of their smoke alarm red when there's an issue, or change the lighting in their home, that tells them, because they've taken those actions, that they need to do something. And then lastly, we have the potential to actually utilize this data as feedback. So if we can push a message to these devices, we can also hopefully receive a message back that these devices are powered, connected to the internet, and in use. We might be able to receive information as to whether or not the homeowner has communicated through the electronic transmission of something like Ring to identify if they're still in their home or are they actually evacuated out of their home based on where that signal is coming from. So if we can gather some of this feedback, especially in aggregate, we might be able to, again, expedite return home from evacuations. We might be able to triage utility service areas that are out a little bit better. So we have some tremendous possibilities lying ahead for us in terms of emergency management, but what we need to do now is learn the technology, talk with the folks that are creating those systems that we utilize to create alert and warning messages, and insist that they start talking to some of these technologies in people's homes, and invite the public to utilize this technology within their home to receive that signal and be a subscriber to that type of alert and warning versus just their phone or just their TV. So just wanted to say thank you for listening. And